another video. It's McKenna, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of Barbie makeup. Now I know everyone's been doing the Barbie trend lately, but as someone who has loved Barbie her whole life, and let me tell you, I'm pretty sure I've seen every Barbie movie out there, and I still love watching the Barbie movies. We are going to do some fun makeup looks based off of different Barbie concepts. So this first one is going to be like a neutral Barbie basic look. So let's get into it. So now that our hair is all back and out of our face, we're gonna get started. So I actually have a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes, on my eyes, and some brows done, and a little bit of mascara. But it's super easy because we're just going to be layering on top of that. Now to start off, I like to start with my eyes, just so that there's no fallout on the rest of my face. So for the eyes, we're going to be using this Tarte palette. This is the Gilded palette, Gilded Amazonian Clay Tarte palette. As you can see, it's one of my favorites, clearly. It has tons of shades and they're super pretty. If you have watched my what I got for Christmas haul from this past Christmas, you will see that I received this. Clearly it's had some damage done to it since then. It's one of my favorite palettes. I use it all the time. So yeah, let's get into starting our eyes. So I would recommend putting a base down of eyeshadow primer or concealer. I like to do concealer just because I have a lot of red undertones, so I have concealer on my eyelids and I set it. So now let's grab our eyeshadow brush. I'm going to take this fluffy eyeshadow brush. It's a Sephora, I think it's 19 eyeshadow brush. It's actually rubbed off because I've had this brush for forever, but it's one of my favorites. Now, I know we set our eyeshadow, but I'm gonna go in with the color Adorn, which is this color here, and just go over it with this nice basic cream colored color, just to give it a little base and give us something to blend the eyeshadows with. Now, I'm doing this with the idea in mind that it's a little bit lighter than the setting powder, because I used a translucent setting powder, and it adds a little bit more of a layer that we can use to blend later on. So now that we've done that, we're gonna go in with a neutral color. I'm going in with this shade right here. This is the shade Dame, with the same brush. And it's actually my most used color in this palette, but I'm going to take it and just lightly go above the crease, just a little light shading for a little bit of definition. And I'll go in a few times. I'll go in probably one more time just to layer it on, blend it out, and see how that now gives us this more blended out but neutral definition to the eye compared to this eye. So I'm going to keep doing this eye just so you can see the visual difference. Next we're going to take a different brush. I have this brush. This is a Sephora little brush. It's a little more dense and tightly packed. I would go for a denser brush. You can also use like one of these style brushes. But we're going to be using this one. I'm going to take the shade Roaring, which is right here, and it's a pinky color, and then I'm just gonna mix it the magnets are strong on this palette. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of the shade next to it, Jazz, just a tiny bit, and then we're going to put it into the crease of our eye here. See how it adds a little pink without adding too much. And this is a neutral pink. So now we have that, and we blend it out a little bit with this brush, and then you can go back with our previous brush, and you can always go in with that light brown shadow and you blend it out until the line is a little more blended. And see, now we've got a natural like Barbie eye coming together. And for the next step, we're going to make a little like almost gel-like shimmer shadow. So I have this e.l.f. I think they're called Super Shock shadows. It's the shade for Flirty Birdie, and it's a super pretty shimmer, and it's like a gel-like paste, almost like a lip gloss but for your eyes. And we're just gonna take a little bit and with the applicator placing it onto the eye, trying to stay on the lower part. And then I'm going to take a very small brush. You could use a lip brush or anything of the sort. And then you can go back in with your little pink brush that you used before and get a little bit of pink and go right over the crease, just to make sure the glitter pops a little more. And then I'll take my applicator, dip it back in, and go over it a little more. And then I'll take this brush and this shade Vintage right here, which is like a gold shimmery shade, and I'll run my brush through it a little bit to get some shadow onto it. And you're just gonna pat right over the glitter. And now I'll just finish it out by blending a little more and finish off with a final blend. And now our eyeshadow base is done. So I'm going to go ahead and do this eye, and then I'll meet you back to continue on with the rest of the eyes. Finished both eyes, and we're going to move on to the next step. For the next step, if I can find it, we're going to need some black liner. Now I have two different versions of the same liner. This is the Revlon Color Stay. Now they have the sharp line and the regular, and the sharp line gives you a little bit of a thinner line, which we're going to use for most of it, and then when we get to the wing part, we're going to use the thicker one, just because the longer, thinner pen makes it harder to get a tiny wing. So we're going to take our liner. This is super thin. Don't mind me, I'm going to use this mirror here and try and give you the best angle. Come as close to your lash line as possible. And coming all the way in to this inner corner here, so you have a look like this. And then you're going to take your other one and do a wing out. And I'm going to do this eye, and then I'll show you how I do the wing. Okay, so now that we've done just the tiniest little wing right here, and then you'll bring it back down. So now you have that little line, and we're going to do the same on this side. Of course, as always, they're not even, but it's fine because your eyes are sisters, not twins. So Now that we've done that, our eyes portion is done except for the lashes, but of course we'll leave that to last. So now let's get on to the face makeup. So I'm going to take a little reusable cotton round and some Neutrogena eye makeup remover, and we're just gonna go underneath our eye and pick up any fallout because we don't want it. I'm taking the dry edge and just wiping any excess oils that would be there away. And now we can get to the base of the face. So I normally don't prime with anything other than a moisturizer and a sunscreen, and I already put that on. But for the purpose of this, we're just gonna get right into the makeup. So I'm gonna take my foundation. I use the Maybelline Fit Me in shade 112, which is actually a little dark for me because they have not had my exact shade. It's been out recently. So this is dark for me, but it works. Then I have my Real Technique sponge. This is the like microfiber one, and I love it so much. And we're going to do the base of her face. My base of my foundation, I'm going to take my concealer, and I use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This just happens to be the hydrating one. Usually I'll get whichever one is in stock. And this is in the shade Fair Rose, which is the lightest shade they have. And I'll go one swipe, and I'll just blend the swipe out. And then one swipe there, one swipe here, and a little in the crease of my nose. And I'll blend it out. Now here, be careful of your little wing you have going. Go right underneath it without touching it. Alright, now that we've finished that part of the base, we're going to go in with a little bit of cream contour. This is the Sephora Make No Mistake Foundation Concealer Stick in the shade 13 Walnut. Now, you're saying foundation concealer stick as a cream contour, and yes, that is what this is. I use it as a cream contour because it's cheaper than buying a cream contour, and I actually have had this for a while, and there's a ton in it. I barely have scratched the surface. I don't even know if they make this anymore. I'm pretty sure they do, but we're going to go from right where you feel your cheekbone and down, just right to where your line where my liner is. And then I'm just gonna put a little thin line on either side of my nose and right underneath my lips, and then here and here. And then I will take a brush. This brush from Sephora is the Pro Foundation Brush 47. And then I take the denser end towards my forehead and I just blend. Then I'll take my sponge with the excess concealer and just go back through and make sure that the cream contour isn't a little too out of hand, especially for someone as pale as me. I try and make sure I don't get out of hand. Now that we've done that, we're going to set. I have this translucent powder from Makeup Revolution, and I just take it in this old powder compact, which has nothing in it, and I'll like squeeze it out because it's got like a weird squeezy thing. And I take a dry Real Technique sponge and I place the powder underneath my eye, down the bridge of my nose, basically on all of the highlight points. And then I'll come underneath a cream contour. And I'll let it sit there for a moment. But we will brush the powder around the rest of the face just to mattify the rest. And while we do that, I'm going to touch up my brows. So I already have a little bit of brow product on. I use the e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift Pencil, which is a really great dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm just going to touch up the shaping of my brow a little bit. Just because Barbie dolls have their brows drawn on, they're a little more intense. Now I tint my brows and they are sparse as is, so me adding brow product usually does a lot to my face. Soften the edges with our finger. And then I will take a brow gel and go over top. I use the e.l.f. Mascara and brow gel. It's clear. And now that we've waited a little bit, I'll take this big fluffy brush and blend out the setting powder that we had underneath. I'll take the powder and go in for a little bit more, just to make sure everything is fully set. And then grabbing for my bronzer, I have the Too Faced Hot Cocoa bronzer. And I use a more packed fluffy brush and go back in on those areas we went on earlier, but more with a slimmer cut. And going back over with the brush we use for a setting powder just to blend it out. And then I go for a blush. I have two blushes that I'm going to use. I'm going to start with It's Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores blush in Je ne sais quoi. And take a blush brush. Super pretty pink color. Because Barbie has all of her blush perfectly done. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this Tarte Decked Out blush over top, just to give it a little more dimension. And then we're going to go over with some mascara. I have the Big Mood by e.l.f. waterproof mascara. I'm going to wipe off our lips. And I'm going to do two things. I have a tinted lip balm from Tony Moly. It's the Petite Bunny Gloss Bar in this little pink shade. Top it off with Matte Darling by Milani. Super pretty pink color. Now our makeup is done. It's time to finish off the look. I'll see you in a minute. I'm wearing this really cute pink corduroy dress from Isaac Mizrahi's collection from Target from a few years ago with a beautiful short petticoat underneath. I finished my pin curls as you saw in the last clip. I put my wig cap on. And I'll have the Etsy shop link below where I got this stunning wig. We're going to use this wig for our stunning party.
on the Barbie makeup look. I hope you enjoyed my 2 final looks, and I can't wait to see your amazing creations. Tag me on Instagram with the hashtag MaxStarBeautyBarbie. And also, don't forget to tag my Instagram, Parker McKenna Mullins. It's also linked below. Check out the podcast, Star Pod. And also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below what videos you would like to see next. And what's your favorite Barbie movie? Also, please go check out the link to this amazing wig down in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later. Bye!